The ominous castle loomed before me, its ancient stones weathered by centuries of neglect. My heart hammered in my chest as I gazed upon its towering spires and forbidding walls, their jagged edges casting long shadows in the fading light of day. I had ventured deep into the heart of an impenetrable forest, guided only by whispered legends and cryptic maps in search of this accursed place. My name is Edward, a scholar and seeker of the arcane, devoted to unraveling the mysteries that the world held. I had spent years uncovering secrets of the supernatural, driven by an insatiable curiosity and an unshakable belief in the existence of forces beyond our comprehension. This castle, steeped in dark folklore, was the last enigma that beckoned me, the final chapter in a relentless quest for knowledge. As I crossed the threshold into the castle's foreboding interior, a palpable sense of dread washed over me, chilling me to the bone. The air was heavy with the scent of decay, a putrid mist that clung to every surface. The walls bore the scars of countless years, their once grand tapestries now tattered remnants of a forgotten time. It was a place that the world had long abandoned, a bastion of darkness where the veil between reality and nightmare grew thin. The corridor stretched out before me, its stone floor uneven and worn. The echoes of my hesitant footsteps reverberated off the walls. A disconcerting symphony of solitude. Each step took me deeper into the castle's heart, the oppressive atmosphere closing in around me like a suffocating shroud. I cast my eyes upon the grotesque tapestries that adorned the corridor's walls, their intricate designs telling tales of torment and suffering. Scenes of agony and despair, rendered in gruesome detail, sent shivers down my spine. Yet, despite the overwhelming unease, I pushed forward. I had come too far to falter now. The ominous path led me to a colossal wooden door, its surface adorned with cryptic symbols and sigils that seemed to writhe and pulse with a malevolent energy. An invisible force seemed to emanate from the other side. My heart raced as I extended a trembling hand to push it open. The room that greeted me was a nightmarish tableau. Dimly lit by flickering candles, it was adorned with human skulls mounted upon spikes, their hollow sockets casting baleful glares in all directions. Chains hung ominously from the ceiling, and at the room's center lay a table covered in a ghastly array of instruments of torture that spoke of unimaginable suffering. And there, at the farthest end of the room, stood the demon from hell. Its grotesque form was a morbid masterpiece, skin the color of searing crimson, horns that spiraled upward from its forehead, and eyes that burned with an unholy fire. A malevolent grin parted its twisted lips, sending a cold shiver down my spine. "So, you have come to face me," the demon hissed, its voice a guttural growl that seemed to originate from the very depths of the abyss. I nodded, my voice a mere whisper. "I seek knowledge, demon. Knowledge of your existence." The demon's laughter filled the chamber, a sound that was more chilling than any I had ever heard. "Knowledge, you say? Knowledge comes at a price, mortal," with a slow, deliberate gesture. The demon conjured a spectral force that wrapped around me, lifting me off the ground and suspending me in the air. I gasped for breath as the ethereal tendrils constricted around me, threatening to crush the life from my body. "Tell me, mortal," the demon hissed, its burning eyes locked onto mine. "What would you sacrifice for knowledge?" My voice barely a whisper, I managed to croak, "Anything." The demon's grin widened, its jagged teeth gleaming with malevolence. "Very well, then. Let us begin." With a sudden, violent motion, the demon flung me across the room, sending me crashing into the cold, unforgiving stone walls. Pain erupted throughout my body, and I could taste the metallic tang of blood in my mouth. But I refused to surrender. I had journeyed too far and delved too deeply into the darkness to quit now. Struggling to my feet, I realized that the room had metamorphosed into a nightmarish scene. The walls pulsed with an evil, red-hued light, casting grotesque, shifting shadows across the chamber. The air grew dense with a foul, metallic stench, and I looked down to find my body covered in a tapestry of fresh cuts and bruises, my flesh torn and mangled. The instruments of torture, once inanimate, now floated menacingly around me, their wicked blades poised to strike. The demon's laughter echoed in my mind, a mocking taunt that reverberated through the chamber. "You wanted knowledge, mortal. Knowledge of pain and suffering. Embrace it, Summoning every ounce of my determination, I reached out and seized one of the floating instruments, a malevolent-looking dagger with serrated edges. With trembling hands, I drove it into my own flesh, unleashing a torrent of searing agony. Blood gushed from the wound, but a strange, dark energy surged through me, as if I had tapped into some forbidden source of power. The demon watched with wicked glee as I continued to inflict pain upon myself. A perverse smile etched upon its grotesque features. I had entered a nightmarish waltz of self-inflicted torment, a horrific display of my unyielding pursuit of knowledge. Hours or days passed in that macabre dance, time became an abstract concept. But eventually, my battered body could endure no more, and I collapsed to the unforgiving ground, my senses blurred, my spirit broken, but my mind irrevocably altered. The demon approached, its fiery eyes gleaming with anticipation. You have paid the price, mortal. You have gained knowledge, but at what cost? I could barely muster a response, but I knew that I had achieved my goal. I had confronted the demon from the depths of hell and emerged from its twisted crucible of suffering. As I drifted into the merciful embrace of unconsciousness, a single, haunting question echoed in the recesses of my mind: was the knowledge I had obtained worth the unspeakable horrors I had endured? In the end, I had sought the truth, and I had found it, the darkest, most malevolent facets of the human spirit laid bare in the face of relentless pursuit. As I drifted in and out of consciousness, my body ached, and my mind struggled to process the horrors I had experienced. The room around me seemed to shift and distort, as if reality itself were bending to the whims of the demon. Each time I opened my eyes, the tormenting visions persisted, reminding me of the darkness that lurked both within and beyond these walls. In my moments of lucidity, I found myself reflecting on the choices that had led me here. The relentless pursuit of knowledge had consumed me, driven me to the brink of madness. The demon's cruel test had not only extracted a toll on my physical form but had forced me to confront the depths of my own desires and fears. With a groan, I struggled to my feet, using the cold, stone wall for support. The room had reverted to its macabre state, and the demon observed me with its piercing, malevolent gaze. You have faced the abyss, mortal, it hissed, its voice a sinister whisper. You have glimpsed the true nature of darkness. What will you do with this knowledge? My thoughts were a whirlwind of confusion and pain, but one thing was clear: I had survived. I had gained insights into the enigma of the supernatural that no other had dared to seek. But the cost had been immeasurable, and the darkness now resided within me. Summoning the last vestiges of my resolve, I spoke with a voice that trembled but held an unwavering determination. I will carry this knowledge with me, demon. I will use it to shine a light on the darkest corners of existence, to warn others of the perils that await those who dare to delve too deeply into the unknown. The demon's grin faded, replaced by a contemplative expression that sent shivers down my spine. It nodded slowly, as if acknowledging my resolve. Very well, mortal. Your fate is sealed. Go forth and share your harrowing tale, but remember this: knowledge comes with a burden, and darkness, once encountered, can never truly be vanquished. With that ominous proclamation, the demon's form began to dissipate, its crimson figure fading into the eerie red light that had enveloped the room. As the last traces of the malevolent presence vanished, I was left alone in the chamber, battered and bruised, but irrevocably changed. With newfound strength, I stumbled out of the accursed castle, the fading light of day greeting me like a long-lost friend. The forest outside seemed quieter, less hostile, as if the horrors I had faced within the castle's walls had released their grip on the world outside. I knew that my journey was far from over, that the knowledge I had acquired would forever haunt my dreams and shape my destiny. But I was determined to use it wisely. To be a beacon of warning in a world teetering on the precipice of the unknown. As I made my way back through the dense forest, I couldn't help but wonder if the pursuit of knowledge, no matter how noble, would always come at a price. The shadows of the ancient castle receded behind me, but the darkness within me would forever remind me of the demon from hell and the horrors of that fateful encounter.